Sam Youngman, I suspect out in Southern California, but I don't know. He's wearing a Los Angeles Kings shirt. I've got my no Kings.
Yeah, these are the only Kings I'm rocking with these days.
Okay, so you're pro Kings, but only if they're a hockey team.
Exactly. And only if they're an LA hockey team. Like, I'm not even rooting for the Sacramento Kings. I'm fine getting rid of them in the NBA.
It's an old shirt. All right. Lots to talk with you about, and thank you very much for joining me here live on the YouTube. I didn't tell anybody we're going to be here, but we're here, and I'm glad that I get to talk to you because there's a lot. We just witnessed about an hour ago the senator, your senator out there in California, Alex Padilla, walks into the press conference for Kristi Noem was having, the Department of Homeland Security. He identifies himself as a senator. He's like, I got a lot of questions. They push him out. They lie about it, kind of what happened immediately, even though we have eyeballs. What do you make of this? This is seems like an escalation, but isn't this what we want, Senator, to fight?
Goddamn right it is. Alex Padilla is my U.S. senator, and he was doing today exactly what I want my U.S. senators to do today. Kristi Noem was in Los Angeles uninvited, bringing chaos and violence to my city, demonizing people that live and work here. I mean, I guess I should be grateful she didn't shoot any puppies in the face today. I know that's a break from how she usually spends her time. Senator Padilla is doing what he's supposed to be doing. And let's not forget, he's the first Latino member of the U.S. Senate from California.
Yeah.
I think if this isn't crossing a line, then I don't know what the hell is. I just saw Mike Johnson lying about this whole thing. And he was talking about how, he's a member of the Civility Caucus, and we've got to lower the temperature. Keep in mind, this is the same little shit that earlier this week was calling for my governor to be, quote, tarred and feathered. So I think it's really obvious that they're going to continue pushing, calling for, and executing violence, and then whining like some little wusses anytime anybody pushes back. I think they're going to hear real loud and clear this weekend how we feel about that shit.
You can never talk about civility if your boss is President Donald Trump. He's the meanest, most heartless, petty, childish son of a bitch outside of Elon Musk. Like, you can't act like you're being civil and then not push back when the boss, your dear leader, acts the way he does every single day. So it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I'll start being civil when they stop kissing the ass of a fascist dictator who wants to rule over me. I mean, it's really that simple. Don't take my freedom. Don't invade my city. Don't insult me and then tell me to be more civil. It's bullshit. I'm not, if they want respect for ICE officers, then ICE officers can start by showing respect to the communities they're in. This one-sided bullshit where we're just supposed to take all this, we're Americans. That's not how we operate. It's not how we're built. It's not in our DNA.
What do you make of dear leader today kind of walking back these mass deportations, kind of saying what we've all always known, that a lot of these people are just working and maybe we're going to have to he posted about this and he's since commented on it. What does that mean?
It sounds like cognitive decline to me. Maybe Jake Tapper can write a fucking book about it and then talk about it nonstop for 2 weeks. Look, I think it's very obvious at this point, Donald Trump doesn't have the first goddamn clue what's happening in his administration. He didn't know what Elon was doing when a drugged out South African was taking a chainsaw to the Veterans Administration. He doesn't know what Stephen Miller is doing with immigration policy. He's empowered the worst people, just absolute loser psychos, to be their worst selves. And then he's turned them loose and he doesn't know what they're doing. I'm sure he is getting a lot of calls from farmers and construction companies and other people who are seeing their businesses gutted because you know what? Immigrants are sort of important to the American economy and they always have been, which is what we've been saying since the goddamn beginning until we were, horse in the throat. So, I'm glad he figured it out today. Welcome to the resistance, Donald Trump.
Do you think that changes anything about the tactics? Because they're talking about trying to break new records of deporting people every day. But what they are finding out, which is what they had to already know, what we all already know, because we live in America and we're human beings with eyeballs and we hire people to come do stuff at our house. And we go to restaurants and we go to hotels, is that the vast, vast majority of people who are here, whether they're undocumented or you think they are here to work, and they are working and they're working very hard jobs. Do you think they're going to change the tactics as a result of realizing that they're not all rapists and murderers?
I don't see how they can. They'd have a full-on revolt from their base. Because I mean, I think what this is sort of revealing is the inherent lie in all of the anti-immigration stuff. It's not about the following the law. Uh, it's it's about racism. It's about bigotry. It's not. It's about not wanting people with brown skin here speaking a different language. Trump's all too late realization that Americans don't want to work on farms, that Americans don't want to clean hotel rooms, that Americans don't want to do the things that hardworking immigrants have been busting their ass to do in this country for a long time. It's an obvious truth, but it's also incompatible with the lie. And so I think what you're seeing is a man who is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he created both.
Isn't this, though, a good thing that he seems to be backing down on these mass deportation tactics? Isn't that a win? Should we be celebrating that he is Taco Trump today?
I mean, if he actually does it, I mean, he's taco Trump's on tariffs too, but that doesn't stop him from doing this dumb shit. I mean, the problem with Trump is like, he'll say something to give you a sliver of hope at 4 o'clock, and then at 4:15, he's completely forgotten that, and
Yeah.
he's gone back to doing whatever crazy shit he's doing at that moment. Look, yeah, I would love it if he would fold and cave like Elon did. I would love it if he would stop, attacking my city, attacking the hardworking people who live here. But there's no universe where I could ever trust that to be the case.
Talk to me a little bit more about your own personal feelings and observations on what it's like to be in Southern California right now through all of this. What have you seen? What's the chatter? What's in the zeitgeist? We hear about people saying that folks are afraid to go to work. I mean, have you noticed it? Have you observed it? What's it been like for you?
It has been shockingly normal here. The idea that LA is a war zone is about the most ridiculous shit I can possibly imagine. I surfed with dolphins this morning, and then I came home and saw hummingbirds playing in my backyard. I mean, it's crazy. Like for a city that always has LAPD helicopters flying over, it's actually been kind of quiet.
Hold on,
It's
let's just
wild.
comment on how amazing at least your day sounded like a fucking Disney movie. Like, I don't know if you heard it. Like, you surfed with dolphins in the morning and then hung out with hummingbirds. Are you a cartoon?
I'm an animal whisperer. Yes, I am like Dr. Doolittle. Yeah, I don't
That's
have any
nice.
human I don't have any human friends, but the animals really like
That's beautiful. I love.
me.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, it's shockingly normal, is what you're
Well, I
saying.
mean, that's the thing. It's just wild to like live in this really beautiful, amazing city with all these wonderful people. And then you turn on cable news and they're talking about it like it's fucking Fallujah. And it's just like, it's one thing when you suspect the press are lying. It's quite another to see it with your own eyes.
What do you think about your governor? What did you think about him before all of this, and how do you think he's handling it?
Well, those are two very different answers.
I know.
Well, I wasn't a huge fan when he was hanging out with Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk. I thought that was embarrassingly naked and ambitious, and nakedly ambitious. But he's doing what we need him to do. He's stepping up. He's defending his state. He's calling out the stuff we need him to call out. I don't particularly care for how he got here, but he's here, and um, I'm grateful to him. I really am. I am grateful to him. I go back and forth on Karen Bass, but Gavin has been as strong this week as I needed him to be, as we needed him to be. Because I mean, there's really no other way to put this. The federal government has invaded LA. Kristi Noem said today she wants to quote liberate the city from socialists. Nobody asked her to fucking do this. We
Right.
live in, the people she's coming after are democratically elected. We voted for them. She doesn't get to substitute her judgment for ours. So yeah, I want to see Alex Padilla doing what he's doing. I want to see Gavin Newsom's doing what he's doing. I want to see him fight. I want to see him push back because enough is enough.
Enough is enough, and that's seemingly what he is saying, and pretty much every other leader in California and in the Democratic Party seems to be as well. And after what happened today with Alex Padilla, I can only imagine what the reaction from the U.S. Senate, much less other Democrats, elected Democrats, is going to be. But they're going to have to be.
There's a lesson here, right? Like Newsom wanted to try and extend an olive branch to the right wing nut jobs. Just yesterday, Alex Padilla voted along with Adam Schiff, my two senators, to advance Trump's bullshit crypto bill. I understand the good-hearted, good government nature of our Democrats who want to pass policy. I understand them wanting to do their jobs, but I think what they need to appreciate now and hopefully do after the incidents of these last few days is that there's no reward in trying to make friends with fascists. You fight them, you defeat them, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Very well said. I agree fully. Speaking of which, what did you make of some of the events that happened this week? I'll talk about what's coming up this weekend. But what did you make of the president addressing actual members of the military and then announcing that he's going to rename a whole bunch of bases after the Confederate soldiers that tore this country apart, traitors? Yeah. What did you make of that whole that day? What transpired? That seemed like a real new moment, a real.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was one of the most unsettling and embarrassing things to ever happen to this country until the next unsettling and embarrassing thing that, Trump did to this country.
Yeah.
You know, military.com had a really shocking story about how those troops were vetted to make sure that A, they support Trump and his policies, and that B, they looked the part. There was even a quote, no fat soldiers, which is just astonishing to me. It's a truly sickening insult of the people that wear the uniform. But a lot of those guys insulted themselves, by choosing to boo again the democratically elected leaders of my city, of my state, by choosing to take part in a political rally, for a military that for almost 250 years has been famously apolitical, the envy of the world in that regard. Well, I might be stretching a little bit, but it's, I mean, upsetting isn't a strong enough word. What happens when Christy Nome turns those guys loose on Alex Padilla? Am I supposed to be afraid of the military of my own country? Is that the way this is supposed to work?
It's a crazy moment to even have to consider it.
Yeah.
What you make of Pete Hegseth's testimony on Capitol Hill this week?
I think we're all going to die. No, look, he's a moron. He's got, tons of arrogance and not much else.
Yeah.
We also know from the first Trump administration that Pete really has a soft spot for war criminals. He likes the guys that kill civilians.
Yeah.
So when he's refusing to say if he would honor the Constitution, I find it pretty fucking alarming. But I also found it pretty alarming when we made a allegedly drunk / rapist our Secretary of Defense, even though he hadn't done anything for the last decade except be on TV.
What about Scott Bessent? He's also on Capitol Hill. Boy, that guy is a fucking weirdo. He's a weird. The way he talks is very hesitant. He's kind of stuttering. I don't like to make fun of a stutter, but he is not out of central casting like Hegseth is. I mean, Hegseth's straight ahead and he's tough. He's dumb and he says dumb shit. And sometimes when he's talking, it just seems like puffs of smoke are coming out of his face. But this guy Bessent, he's real awkward and seemingly insecure. He makes bad jokes. He's way out of it. I can't believe that guy's a person. That's my commentary on it. But
I think he's in absolute hell right now. I think he's one of those rare people in Trump land who knows how stupid the stuff he's defending is every day. And I think I'll put it this way. I am delighting in his misery because he looks like a very unhappy, uncomfortable person. And I take some pleasure in knowing that the stench of his crimes against this country will follow him for the rest of his life. Or I hope so anyway.
What do you make of the actual testimony about the bill, mostly being asked about the debts and deficits that it creates? And I haven't even talked to you. Of course, I've been reading the newsletter, but since Elon Musk himself said this bill is abominable, it creates all kinds of debt and deficit, and then said that Trump's in the Epstein files. But I mean, nobody, no independent source, no conservative source, because conservative outlets generally, or scoring think tanks, et cetera, policy places, they don't like debt and deficits. There's no way to score it as not be creating budget deficit and more adding to the national debt. And everybody knows that's what happens when you cut taxes and don't cut spending at equivalent rates. But he's been asked about that. What do you make of all the controversy over the massive debts it creates, according to Elon fucking Musk?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? None of this is hard. It's not complicated. We know what this bill does. It hurts poor people, it helps rich people, and it blows up the deficit. That's not complicated. It's not even really that hard it's not even really that disputed. So what do you do if that's the case and you still got to defend it? Well, you just lie. You just lie. You just say, CBO, they don't get stuff wrong. I saw this video of Tim Scott today. He's like, the CBO got this thing wrong in the 1940s. It's like, hey, somebody tell Tim Scott the CBO didn't exist till 1974.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
oh, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, we're seeing it right now with Alex Padilla. They just lie. They just make up their own reality because they know the New York Times is too chicken shit to defend the actual reality. So they'll get their own version out there right along next to it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And they're doing a pretty good job at that. But you just got to wonder how that is seen by the public. I guess, there's the MAGA. We don't really even ask what MAGA thinks or what's going to break the fever, or when there's hypocrisy, do they notice it? We don't spend a lot of time there anymore, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I was on a chat earlier and somebody asked, will this Padilla thing, will that be a tipping point for Republican senators? And it's like, Trump tried to kill them. Like he sent a violent mob to their home to kill them. And they were kissing his ass less than 24 hours later. Some of them didn't even wait that long. So no, there is no tipping point that's coming. We are our only hope.
We are our only hope. So that brings us to this weekend. There's rallies all around the country.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in Washington, D.C.? Somebody's going to stand in front of a tank.
I mean, if they do, they'll be my hero. I'm praying for rain. Anything that embarrasses that asshole, I'm in favor of. It sucks because I actually do support the troops. I actually do respect our military. I actually do like to celebrate them. My father was a two-star general. My brother fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. Uh, I would love to be in a position to actually celebrate the military. But how the fuck can I possibly do that after what I saw in Fort Bragg this week? It's to all of our loss that Trump is defiling the military the way he is. I hate it for them as much as I hate it for the rest of us.
I did not know your father was a two-star general. Who is your father?
I don't know. We don't talk much. It's where I got my problem with authority.
But you respect his service despite your personal differences.
Damn right.
Fuck. We do a whole hour on that? Just you on the couch?
Yeah, I already did with my therapist.
Talk to me about General Father. Shit.
It's a pretty recurring theme with me.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm inspired by what I'm seeing with people out in the streets and people joining in all kinds of different spaces against this.
Yeah, me too.
These arrests are images that go viral every time. Yeah. And it would seem that I rank it like there's MAGA people who are political. Then there's like apathetic people who don't pay any attention to politics. And then there's people, all the way to those of us that, do it for a living and follow the news all day, every day. But I got to imagine that some of those categories, like the apathetic, especially, people don't pay attention to politics. They see these ICE raids and they know these are good people. They see them tearing apart families. I feel like it's waking people up. And I feel like, people keep saying it, but it's got to get worse before anything gets better. I don't know. I don't know where the bottom is, but I feel like we're bouncing around it.
Yeah. I hope so. I'm always curious myself about what's breaking through.
Yeah.
What gets to the voter who has 3 kids who have to get to soccer practice, band practice, softball practice, and doesn't follow the news, not because they don't care, because there's just only so much time in the day. I'm always curious about what reaches them. And I have to believe a United States senator being thrown to the ground is one of those things. Or at least I sure as hell hope so. I don't.
And it's not I think that your kid's hot Brazilian soccer coach just got deported. Like people, even the people that you described, like their help is being like. That's what I'm saying. Like I just feel like these mass deportations are affecting all different kinds of business sectors and individuals themselves and communities. You see like these MAGA voting communities defending someone who they love being deported. Like, not her. She's wonderful. Not that one. That's the one I know.
Yeah, and all it took was to almost affect them personally, right? I mean,
always. That's real life.
It's enormously frustrating, but if that's what it fucking takes to get these people to start seeing their fellow humans as actual humans instead of something to just be demagogued and attacked, okay. It's just a shame that it took that much to get them to care.
That's right. That's right. I agree with that. That's why we're constantly trying to fight apathy. You and I, we did it. We did it again. And in our Kings shirts, we both got pretty dressed up.
No, I can't wear this Saturday.
Are you going somewhere?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I'll be out there. Even if I had been on the fence attacking my U.S. senator, that gets me in the streets. I'm ready to go.
I 100% fell for and shared on like every social media platform that white dude yelling at the National Guard was.
That was Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's kid.
100%. I shared that.
He was wearing a King shirt too.
I was positive it was him.
Yeah,
it was not him.
He's a talented kid, though. If you ever want to see a really funny movie, Everybody Wants Some is the follow up to Dazed and Confused, and he plays like a pot smoking hippie college baseball pitcher. And
dude's great, but what made me think, like, more important than anything, you're out there, I'm out there, like, white people need to be out there and need to be outraged, and not just like old crunchy white people, which is most of what I've seen so far, but like all the white people.
Yeah. Listen to my accent. I feel like I told somebody the other day, somebody who sounds like me and looks like me, it's an obligation to speak up right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that you did, and I'm glad that you do, and I'm glad that you did some of it with me today. I appreciate you, buddy, and thank you for stopping by and slumming it with us.
Pete, you are the best, man. Thanks for fighting a good fight, and thanks for having me, man.
All right, bud. I'll talk to you later. I'm going to end the stream.